quickly on defense,
Yeah.
switching. Paul Ryan left the defense request intact, and while the Republicans in the House particularly have said everything should be on the table in terms of cuts and reducing the deficit, where do you stand on that, and do you see any room of cutting the defense budget for 2012?
I think that Secretary Gates made a very wise decision when he proposed $173 billion in savings, and 73 of it being reductions in spending and 100 billion be reinvested. I would be very reluctant to cut defense spending until we see really how these two conflicts we're in are going to come out and what the implications of this latest Arab Spring are. At the same time, I remain incredibly frustrated and angry about the defense procurement as it exists today. We had a hearing the other day with the Secretary of the Army and Chief of Staff of the Army. There's a program that has to do with missile defense called MEADS. We're going to spend $800 million more, even though we are not going to build the project. But because of the deal that was made, and I asked them, who made these deals? Oh, well, there was a whole bunch of people that made these deals. Some of them in states, some of them, we're going to spend $800 additional more because it would cost $800 million to terminate the contract. Now, how does that make any sense? They screw up a contract beyond belief. We decided not to buy the product, and yet we still pay them for the product. Where else in America is that kind of deal available? I mean, it's nuts. There was a study just the other day that showed that the Army wasted an average of $3.4 billion a year on programs that came to nothing. See, the problem isn't the credibility with me. Their problem is the credibility with the American people. And so they're going to have to clean up this Procurement Act, because we just can't keep the F-35. The next generation fighter. I mean, it is a disgrace. It is an absolute disgrace, the cost overruns. It's been now, I think, something like 18 months behind schedule and already double the initial cost. I mean, you just cannot sustain such behavior in these days of economic hard times. So there's going to, and look, it isn't because Gates didn't try. But I would imagine that Secretary Gates has a lot of priorities, and we have got to start concentrating on that. Otherwise, there are going to be cuts in defense spending that may impair our ability to defend our national security interests. And I would also remind you, finally, that about 70% of our defense costs are in personnel. Personnel, the men and women who are serving, and we're not about to cut their pay. We're not about to cut their benefits. So there is a limited area where you're going to actually be able to make reductions.